Today is Monday, March the 14th, and this is the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Committee. I will do a quick rundown of our roles. So I'm present, Councilmember Bradford is present, Councilmember Gamble is present, Councilmember Hager is present, I don't see Councilmember Hall, Councilmember Murphy is present, Councilmember O'Connell is absent, Councilmember Parker is present, Vice Chair Rutherford is present, I don't see Councilmember Sepulveda, Councilmember Van Rees, or Councilmember Welsh, but that gets us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That gets us to 7 present, which means we do have a quorum. So thank you everyone for coming out today. We do have a lot on our agenda. A lot of stuff on our agenda we'll be able to go through on consent, I hope. So what I'm going to do is to read through those items and bill numbers, and then if anything needs to come off of that list for consent, let me know. We do have several items that have amendments and things like that as well. I want to make sure we have time to get to those that need discussion. So the items that I have for consent are item number 1, Resolution RS 2022-1433. Item number 2, Resolution RS 2022-1434. Item number 5, Ordinance BL 2022-1125. Item 6, Ordinance BL 2022-1127. Item number 7, Ordinance BL 2022-1128. Item number 8, Ordinance BL 2022-1129. Item number 10, Ordinance BL 2022-1132. Item number 11, Ordinance BL 2022-1133. Item 12, Ordinance BL 2022-1134. Item 13, Ordinance BL 2022-1135. Item number 15, Ordinance BL 2022-1083. And the companion piece 1084, number 16. Item number 19, Ordinance BL 2022-1087. Item number 20, Ordinance BL 2022-1088. Item 21, BL 2022-1098. Item number 22, Ordinance BL 2022-1099. Item number 25, Ordinance BL 2022-1102. Item number 26, Ordinance BL 2022-1103. Item number 27, Ordinance BL 2022-1104. Item number 30, Ordinance BL 2022-1108. And the companion piece 31, BL 2022-1109. Item number 32, Ordinance BL 2022-1110, which is on a substitute. And item number 33, Ordinance BL 2022-1111. Does anyone have any of those items that you wish to remove from consent? Councilmember, hang on a second. Councilmember Murphy, there you go.
Okay, they are on. I wanted to just, I've got item number 9. I had emailed in that needs to be deferred one meeting, so I'd like to add that to consent to defer. And then I also noticed that we don't have items that at the sponsor's request for deferral on consent. Can we add 28 and 29 by Council Lady Welch? They are both to defer one meeting at the sponsor's request. Is there a reason why we don't have those on consent?
I was going to do a separate deferral consent calendar is why. Yeah, but that's a great question. Anything else? All right, hearing none, I'll try to read through these as quickly as I can. So item number 1, Resolution RS 2022-1433. The sponsors are Councilmember Syracuse, Allen, Withers, and Young. Approves Amendment 2 to an agreement by and between TDOT and Metro for acceptance of work to construct a sidewalk on Lebanon Pike. Item number 2, Resolution RS 2022-1434, the sponsors are Councilmembers Gamble, Allen, Withers, and Young, authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration to exercise an option to purchase a certain parcel of property located at 0 Janelle Drive. I hope I pronounced that right. Item number 5, Bill 2022-1125, the sponsors are Councilmembers Hall, Allen, and Withers, authorizes the granting of a permanent easement to the Electrical Power Board on certain property owned by Metro Government of Nashville and Davidson County. Item number 6, Ordinance Bill 2022-1127, the sponsors Councilmember Stiles, approves 2 agreements relating to the use of properties comprising the Global Mall site. Item number 7, Bill 2022-1128, the sponsors are Councilmembers O'Connell, Allen, Withers, or Young, authorizes Metro to enter into an agreement with Marathon Village Owner, LLC, to provide improved public sanitary sewer service through the construction of an improved stormwater system. Item number 8, Ordinance Bill 2022-1129, the sponsors are Councilmembers O'Connell, Allen, Withers, and Young, authorizes Metro Government to enter into an agreement with Union Brick RE LLC to provide improved public sanitary sewer service through the construction of an improved stormwater system. Item number 10, Ordinance BL 2022-1132, the sponsors are Councilmembers Parker, Withers, and Young, authorizes Metro Government to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 405B Marshall Street, also known as Marshall Crossing. Item number 11, Ordinance BL 2022-1133, the sponsors are Councilmembers Rutherford, Withers, and Young, authorizes Metro Government to accept new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, fire hydrant assembly, and easements for property located at 6785A Sunnywood Drive, also known as Sunnywood Place. Item number 12, Ordinance BL 2022-1132, the sponsors are Withers and Young, authorizes Metro Government to accept new sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes for 4 properties located on Waller Road in Williamson County, also known as Childhurry Acres. And again, I apologize if I mispronounced that. Item number 13, Ordinance BL 2022-1135. The sponsors are Councilmembers O'Connell, Withers, and Young. Authorizes Metro Government to accept new sanitary sewer manhole and new fire hydrant assembly for property located at 827 19th Avenue South, also known as the Moore Office Building. Item number 15, Ordinance BL 2022-1083. The sponsors are Councilmembers Sledge and O'Connell. Changes the zoning code by applying a historic landmark overlay district to a portion of the property located at 915 Kirkwood Avenue. Item number 16, Ordinance BL 2022-1084. The sponsors are Councilmembers Sledge and O'Connell. Authorizes building material restrictions for the above at 915 Kirkwood Avenue. Item number 19, Ordinance BL 2022-1087, amends the zoning code by canceling a portion of a planned unit development overlay district on property located at 5772 Old Hickory Boulevard, approximately 250 feet south of Central Pike. Item number 20, Ordinance BL 2022-1088, the sponsors Councilmember Allen, amends sections 2.80, 0.080, as well as 17.28.100 and 17.40.010 of the Metropolitan Code regarding the design and operation of outdoor electrical lighting to reduce light pollution, consistent with International Dark Sky Association guidelines, and to authorize the Board of Fire and Building Codes to grant variances from these provisions. Item number 21, Ordinance BL 2022-1098. The sponsor is Councilmember Toombs, amends the zoning code by changing from CL to SP zoning for property located at 2306 Brook Church Pike at the southeast corner of Hampton Street and Avondale Circle. Item number 22, Ordinance BL 22-1099. The sponsor is Councilmember O'Connell, amends the zoning ordinance by changing zoning from CSIR and OR20 to SP zoning for properties located at 1114, 1116, 1118, 1120 Fifth Avenue North, 407, 409, and 411 Madison Street, 1117, 1119, 1121, and 1123 4th Avenue North, and 416 Jefferson Street at the northwest corner of 4th Avenue and Jefferson Street, and within the Germantown Historic Preservation District and the Phillips Jackson Street Redevelopment District to permit a mixed-use development. Item number 25, Ordinance Bill 2022-1102, the sponsor is Councilmember Syracuse, amends Title 17 of the zoning code by canceling a portion of a planned unit development overlay district for properties located at 713 Ermac Drive, zoned ORI. Item number 26, Ordinance Bill 2022-1103, the sponsor is Councilmember Toombs, amends the zoning code by changing from RA to RM40A NS zoning for property located at 2122 Buena Vista Pike, approximately 353 feet northeast of Resha Lane. Item number 27, Ordinance BL 2022-1104, the sponsor is Councilmember O'Connell, amends the zoning code by changing from RM6A to RM15A NS zoning for properties located at 1401 and 1403 Hawkins Street at the corner of Hawkins Street and 14th Avenue South. Item number 30, Ordinance BL 2022-1108, the sponsors are Councilmembers Hager and Roten, amends the zoning code by changing from RS5 to SP zoning for property located at 3005 Lakeshore Drive, approximately 85 east of 32nd Street. And then the companion piece is item 31, BL 2022-1109, which has materials restrictions for the same property. Item number 32, Ordinance BL 2022-1110. The sponsors, Councilmember Toombs, amends the zoning code by changing from R10 to RM15A NS zoning for property located at 2106 Courtney Avenue, approximately 150 feet east of Clarksville Pike. And finally, Ordinance BL 2022-1111, the sponsors, Councilmember Sepulveda, amends the zoning code by changing from OL to MULA NS zoning for property located at 339 Wallace Road, approximately 210 feet west of Hopedale Drive. So those are items on consent. If I can call on Vice Chair Rutherford, do you have a motion for the consent calendar?
Mr. Chair, I move approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Rutherford. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, we've taken care of those. Next, I'll do the deferrals, if that's okay. So the items for deferral are item number 3, Ordinance BL 2021-831. We have a request to defer that 2 meetings. Item number 9 from Councilmember Murphy, Ordinance BL 2022-1131. We have a request to defer that 1 meeting. Let's see. And then items number 23 and 24, which are ordinance numbers BL 2022-1100 and 1101 by Councilmember Rosenberg. We have a request for a committee deferral by rule, which would be for 1 meeting. And then items 28 and 29 from Councilmember Welsh, BL 2022-1105 and 1106, that would be to defer 1 meeting. Is there anything else for that, for any reason we have a request to defer? Okay, great. Then I will read through those captions quickly. So for the deferral calendar, item number 3, Ordinance BL 2021-831. The sponsors are Councilmembers O'Connell, Bradford, and Parker. This amends sections of the Metro Code relative to short-term rental properties not owner-occupied, as well as the parking requirements related to short-term rental property not owner-occupied. The lead sponsor, Councilmember O'Connell, has requested a 2-meeting deferral to the 2nd meeting in April. Item number 9, Ordinance BL 2022-1131. The sponsors are Councilmembers Murphy, Withers, and Young. Authorizes Metro government to abandon easement rights for property located at 410 42nd Avenue North and 410B 42nd Avenue North, formerly a portion of Alabama Avenue, except for those retained by NES. And that's for a 1-meeting deferral. Then for the 2 from Councilmember Rosenberg, item number 23 and 24, BL 2022-1100 and 1101, amends the zoning code by applying by amending a specific plan for properties located at 5754 River Road and River Road unnumbered, approximately 750 feet west of Charlotte Pike, zoned SP, R40, and R80, to add 5.9 acres to the SP and permit 160 multifamily residential units. And then the companion piece 1101 has materials restrictions related to the same property. And that's for deferral by rule, which would be for one meeting. Then items 28 and 29 from Councilmember Welsh, ordinance BL 22, 1105, and 1106, amends the zoning code by changing from RS 7.5 to SP zoning for property located at Tuggle Avenue unnumbered at the eastern terminus of Morton Avenue to permit 8 multifamily residential units, all of which is described herein. And then the companion piece 1106 is for materials restrictions related to that property. So that is our deferral agenda. Can I again call on Vice Chair Rutherford for a motion?
Move approval of the deferral calendar.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rutherford. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so that gets us down to amendments, I think. And so the first one of those is item number 4, which is ordinance number BL 2022-1123. The sponsors are Councilmember Stiles, Withers, and Young. Authorizes the granting of an easement to the Metro government to construct, operate, maintain, repair, replace, and inspect sanitary sewers and/or drainage improvements in water mains or appurtenances within the limits of the easement or right-of-way. And then there is an amendment on this one. So can I get a motion on this item for the bill? We have a motion. Is there a second? Thank you. And since I'm a co-sponsor, I will request to move the amendment, and I'll defer to legal counsel to explain it.
Oh, goodness. This amendment is merely essentially a housekeeping amendment. It's an important one, though, because it changes recitals to identify the property is owned by Metro and it's not owned by Land Solutions Company as originally submitted.
Okay, thank you. So I will move that. Is there a second to move the amendment? Great. Any discussion on the amendment or the ordinance for that matter? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That's on the amendment. Now the bill is amended. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for that. Then I think the next item we have is item number 14. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So the next one is for bills on third reading, item number 14. This is the second substitute of ordinance BL 2021-621. We're already on the second substitute, and there is an amendment that has been submitted through the packet. Councilmember Murphy, can I call on you to make a motion with regard to the ordinance?
Sure, I'd like to move for approval and then move the amendment.
Okay, great. Is there any discussion on the ordinance itself at this point?
We're on the amendment.
Okay, so we will move the amendment then. All right, so as our second, great. So I'll go ahead and please describe the amendment.
So the amendment clarifies where you're going to find what is administratively approved and what is not. That is currently set by the Historic Commission and in part of their the Commission's rules and regulations.
Okay, is there any discussion on the amendment? All right, hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you. The bill as amended is recommended by the committee.
We have to take a vote on the bill as amended.
Oh, that's right. What's that?
Vote on the amendment and then vote on the bill.
Oh, okay. So any discussion on the bill as amended? All right, so all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so the bill as amended is recommended by committee. Then we come to items number 17 and 18. This is ordinance numbers BL 2022-1085 and 86. This amends the zoning code by changing from CS to SP zoning for property located at 5772 Old Hickory Boulevard, approximately 300 feet south of Central Pike, and located within a commercial planned unit development overlay district to permit 152-unit multifamily development, all of which is described herein. We do have an amendment, and if it's okay, I will, well, first of all, I'm a co-sponsor, and Councilmember Evans is out, but I will move the bill. Is there a second to move it for discussion? Great, thank you. And then for the amendment, can I get someone to move the amendment? All right, thank you. And then I'll call on the planning table to Matthew to help us understand the amendment.
Perfect. So the amendment just adds 2 extra conditions on the main bill. One being that they need to repair or remove any signs in disrepair and maintain those signs to the current Metro standard. It's the same language from the sign code, essentially. And then the other condition adds the design book as Exhibit A, which you can see in the amendment packet, which outlines generally how the remodel of the hotel facility should look as it's converted to multifamily, as well as the materials that should be used, which I think are brick and architectural metal for the most part. And then on the materials bill, it just adds a reference to the design book to make sure we're compliant with state law.
Great, thank you for that explanation, Matthew. Are there any questions about the amendment? All right, so with that, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? And then for the bill as amended, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. I think that's it. Is that right? Thanks for that reminder. Yeah, I forgot. So number 18 is another one of those that has the materials restrictions for the same property. So we do have an amendment for that. Is it the same amendment? So it's the same amendment that we had described before. So for the amendment, can I get a second? Great, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? And then for the bill as amended, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you for that. I'm sure Councilmember Evans appreciates that while she is absent today. I think that's it. All right. Well, I believe that concludes the business of the Planning and Zoning Committee. So I want to thank everyone for coming out today and look forward to our next committee, which is Budget and Finance. Thank you.